Welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host, as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
Oh my God, Rob, if we make it through this podcast, I will be so happy.
Yeah, me too. I think we're both.
It has been a week. And it's what, both, Tuesday?
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel today. So, yeah, it's just one of those. Oh, wow. Yeah. But got to do what you got to do. Got to keep moving. At least for now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we are going to talk about how the weather can affect your mood.
Ooh, we got lots to talk about on that one.
And energy, it says. Yeah, I do believe that there's a lot to that. There's a lot to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
The funny thing is that my good friend was the one who actually said to do this show. And you said something about it yesterday, which is kind of like, premonitioning.
It's no secret in my world that the weather affects me. I mean, I live in Southern California. We don't have a lot of weather, and I'm grateful for that. We just had this big storm over the weekend, and it was like the last 4 or 5 days we've been having storms, and it's still crappy today, but at least it's not raining and the sun's out. But I have been in a freaking mood. I couldn't go on my bike this weekend, and I'm finding that has been my place of peace, to get out and be on the bike and go riding, and I wasn't able to. Did go with a friend to a movie and had a good time there, but I just haven't been feeling myself. And then with everything that life's been throwing at me, I definitely haven't been feeling really good. But the rain really kicks my ass. I mean, I try to keep a positive attitude always, but when it rains, it just drowns that out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely experienced that this weekend and yesterday. For those of you that don't know, I don't think anybody knows, but I called Rob yesterday because I forgot that we had to do the podcast, and he texted me, we didn't have anything set in stone. I totally forgot. And then when I saw his text, because I was just going through it, I just started crying. I couldn't keep it together. And poor Rob had to get the the mental dump that I was going through at the moment. Poor thing. It sucked. And I don't even like being that person. So it was really hard for me to even open up like that. But fucking rain didn't help.
Yeah, I think, look, there's a lot to this. First of all, looking at it from the point of view of like most things, with the weather, I think it affects everyone. It affects them obviously differently, and where you live probably has a lot to do with it. Mostly with colder climates, I think. We live in Southern California, so we have kind of a love-hate relationship with the sun, right? Because it's out so much here, and the weather is pretty much warm year round, right? We generally get good weather. So when the rain hits here, it's really crippling. So, and if you're not working, I think it's like, I'm an overthinker anyway. Mm-hmm. So you add rain to the situation, and I can put every single story in my head that you can think of, because I can't go nowhere, can't do anything really. You're just kind of like, like, so a lot of it is pretty heavy. And look, a lot of it's probably psychosomatic, and it's all in our head. But, the cold here is rough on a lot of people, because when it gets cold, your mood definitely changes, because now you're hunkered down, you've got a lot of clothes on, you're doing whatever you are to get to your car without getting poured on. Mm-hmm. And then the stress level starts kicking up. So you're stressed about driving far.
Well, drivers here suck. Driving sucks in the rain here, because people are still driving like, it's a sunny day in California, and they don't drive well anyway. Let's
Mm-hmm.
face it, everybody goes fast and they want to go hard and they want to be the first one to the light because you'll hit every one of them, but you still want to be the first. And you add water to that and people not paying attention and still being on their phones, and it's a shit show. We have so many accidents, huge accidents. After it rains, I notice there's a lot of people with new cars with, temporary license plates because they've crashed their cars during the rain. And there's even stats to prove that in California, the rate of accidents goes up in the rain, and then the rate of buying new cars seems to go up higher after a rain. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I saw lots of people that were driving way faster than they should be.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly, where you live and where I live, the drainage systems are not the greatest.
Well, no, because they don't need to be. We hardly
Because
ever
they
get
don't.
rain.
Right. So they back up very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were having flash flood warnings where I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an interesting few days, and we're going to get more. So it's not like this is, Thursday, Friday, we're going to get more. So,
Mm-hmm.
got to hunker down because it's definitely coming.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you're like, oh, great. Like, here we go again. But it's definitely coming, and we're just going to have to brave it for whatever couple of days we have to do it.
And hope it's not a rainy season.
And hope it's not a rainy season. I mean, my friend this morning was even telling me that she, the rain where she's at is also like kind of putting her body and her mind through a bunch of stuff. Like she said something that I thought was pretty interesting. Let's see. She said, she goes, rain makes me go introverted and start really self-reflecting on where I'm at spiritually, emotionally, and relationship wise. I think it's just, a lot of that gray weather. It's like, yeah, I understand where, and if you are an overthinker at all, it'll cripple you. I mean, at least it does to me. Like I'm already bad when it is. Heaven forbid I have, like right now, I'm not working still because of my shoulder.
Yeah.
So I can definitely put myself into a place that I shouldn't be. I found a webpage that was on Healthline. It says, yes, weather can affect mood and energy. Here's the key takeaways. Weather conditions such as temperature, humidity, and sunlight may influence your mood, energy, stress. Extreme temperatures often lead to lower moods, while moderate sunny conditions may improve moods. Hey, that's, I think, why most Californians are just kind of chill, right? Because mostly sunny conditions and moderate weather, hard to be down when they're like that.
Absolutely.
But this is probably why when the rain comes, we really kind of turtle up, like get into a shell. You know what I mean? Like
turtle up.
Turtle up, because no one wants to be in that shit. Just walking my dog, it was like, because I've said it a million times on the pod that he doesn't care about the rain because he has a double coat. So that fool just walks around like slow. He'll stop. He'll shake the shit out of his face and get whatever's on him and then keep walking. And here I am, got an umbrella and I'm freezing cold. And I'm like, let's just hurry. I think a lot of that goes to, again, we live in moderately sunny weather, so it's easy. When I lived in Vegas, where the summer were brutal.
Summer's 12 months out of the year.
Yeah, I mean, well, and here's the thing. The summer is long. It's from about May to October-ish, sometimes later. But then when the winter in Vegas, people don't get it that it's a desert, so it's cold. And it's windy, so your conditions change. Anyone who lives in a desert, I think, ends up with these kind of things. It even says, if you live in a desert climate, a chilly, breezy day could offer a nice change of pace. Likewise, the hot, humid days of summer could feel downright miserable. So, yeah. And look, I've been in, the desert when I lived there, and the highest I was ever in was 116. And it's pretty damn warm. And I know people who live in Arizona where it's 122, 123.
Yeah.
Those are just difficult days to live in.
Yeah.
The sun is so extreme. You have to have a
pool if you're going to be outside.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Even the pool is great, but the pool ends up being 85 degrees, 90 degrees and then the sun is just so brutal. I remember being out with my kid, and he was young then. He was like 7, and we'd be in the pool in Vegas, and it was just like the sun was just beating down on us, and you have to protect yourself. But the flip side of it is that most places that are like that have air conditioning everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So
it's built around air conditioning.
Correct. So like you really don't have an issue with that kind of problem, right? Where you're going, we're going to go somewhere and just bake, because you really don't.
I remember one day this last summer, I was in the pool on a raft, and it was so bloody hot. I couldn't get cool, and I was in water, but anything that was out of water was just blazing. That was a hard day, but it didn't affect my mood. I was in a great mood. I was like, I'm going to get tan, and I don't care that it's this hot, and I'll just keep dunking, and didn't affect me like the rain does.
Yeah, because I think that, although people argue, you can argue either side of this, where the heat, you can only take off so much, and the cold, you can put so much on.
Yeah.
So you can really be better in the cold because you can get warm, and it's hard to get cold in the summertime. I kind of agree with that, but on the flip side of it, I think when it's warm, even if it's hot, once the sun goes down, you can still be outside barbecuing. You can still hang out with your friends. You can still be drinking outside. There is good parts of that, where in the wintertime, you're not hanging out outside.
No, and even barbecuing, nobody wants to be out there barbecuing in the cold, or especially the rain. Nobody wants to do that.
No one wants to. I mean, unless you have a covered patio. If you have a covered patio, it's nice. I will say.
Yeah.
And I was a big time barbecuer in the wintertime, when I lived in my condo, because it was, I could step down, you step down on the patio and it's right there.
Right.
So it makes it easier. I think if things are close, it makes it much better for you. Where I live now, there's barbecues all through the apartment, but you have to walk to them. And in the rain, it's not the greatest. Here's another stat for you. It says certain people, including older adults and those with mood disorders, may be more sensitive to weather changes, potentially experiencing symptoms like irritability, migraines, and insomnia. The heat makes everyone irritable. That's why in a lot of places back east or the Midwest, where they don't have the greatest air conditioning, like Chicago, it's people get angry and fight and shoot each other, and crazy stuff happens because it is difficult, right? I mean, you can only do so much, and then people lose their shit. Migraines I've heard of. I don't get them like that because of the heat, but I have heard of people doing it. And I think insomnia is just rough because, yeah, if you're in a bed at night and you can't get cool, you're miserable. So that I get. Again, in the wintertime, should just throw an extra 17 blankets on. You should be okay.
Oh my gosh, last night I needed to do that. My toes never I broke my shoe yesterday. Also, I didn't tell you that. And it was during like the hardest part of the rain where it was just
Of
it
course.
was coming down in sheets and people were standing at the grocery store not even wanting to go to their cars because they were like everything's going to be soaked. And here I go cuz I just wanted to get home and I broke my shoe, got my stuff in the car. I was so wet that when I got out, the seat was wet. Like you could see the imprint of where I was
Right.
because I was all wet and made the seat wet. And then I'm having to get to the house. I live on a busy street, so I had to get out of the car with people whizzing by and the water's coming up and I don't have a shoe on and I had to go up the gutter went almost to the middle of the street, so I had to walk through water and then I had to get my grocery. It sucked yesterday. It just sucked. And
I,
when I got in, I was done with people. I was done with life. I just wanted to go to bed and sleep until the rain stopped. And that's kind of what I did actually.
it's pretty nice, right?
Yeah. And then I didn't get up until like 9 o'clock this morning. When I say I want to completely escape reality, I could do that with sleeping. And I did because I
Right.
just couldn't. You heard in the last year, I know you've heard me like cry probably 3 times, but in my whole life, how many times have you heard me cry? Like 4
Uh,
total?
yeah, maybe. And I think one of them is because your wisdom teeth came out.
Yeah. And my
You know what I
boyfriend
mean?
was
Like it
being a
wasn't,
dick. Yeah, it wasn't
yeah, it
even
wasn't even because it was like
I was
life
complaining.
altering. Yeah,
Mhm.
you were just like, oh, this sucks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to read this next statement, which I think is pretty spot on for a lot of people. It says extreme weather events may negatively affect mental health, increasing stress, anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Addressing, um, so it's basically like weather related trauma, which I get to a degree. I mean, depression, like my mom lived up in Washington for like 3 years or 4 years because her husband was in the military. And she hated it because, here's someone who did a lot of their adult life in Southern California and now had to live literally in the rain for 90% of her
Mm.
time there.
I don't think I would ever marry somebody that said they want to live in climates like that because it just yeah, they wouldn't
It,
like me.
it, you could tell that what it did to my mom. And it's funny, near the end of her life, she lived in Idaho, which it also isn't the greatest for weather, even though they did get sun. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
just, it's cold up there. Uh, but the rain, she said, was miserable. It's just gray all the time.
Mhm.
And look, the sun is something we need. Got to have the sun. Vitamin
I
D is
agree.
so important.
Yep.
And I have a major deficiency. So I have to take the highest amount.
You know that most people, even in California, have a very low vitamin D rate? There's something that I don't know, it's probably because we don't eat right, of course, but everybody suffers from vitamin D deficiency.
Mhm.
Every single person that I talk to, "Oh, yeah, I have that problem. Oh, yeah." But vitamin D is what helps your body take in any other nourishment, any other vitamins, any other
Correct.
anything. And when you don't have it, you're depleting yourself even though you're eating. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too has to do mostly in Southern California, even though we have a lot of sun here, is that we all work indoors.
Mhm.
So your sun exposure isn't as much as it should be.
Mhm.
And I think that's the bigger problem. Um and look, I mean it affects me both sides. I would say the rain definitely affects me. I think that it's just easy to. And now here's the different thing though. I'll give you the example of like how the rain can also be a good thing. At least like for me, if and when I'm with somebody, I enjoy the rain. If you can both hang out at home, because I think there's nothing like snuggling up on the couch, eating popcorn and watching a movie,
Well, yeah, if
right?
you only get 1 day of weather,
Yeah,
that's
1 or
great.
2 days is great.
But after that, there's no more snuggling up. I'm starting to be pissed off having to sit and look at this person not get dressed.
Right.
That drives me crazy too. Like even in the rain, I'll still get up, do my hair and do my makeup, even if I have to go outside. And even if I know as soon as I go out, my hair is going to look like shit. I think for me, just getting up and getting ready, I have to do that for my mental health. And to see somebody that doesn't, oh my God, it drives me nuts. It really does.
I mean, it's when you're stuck in look what COVID did to us. When you're stuck in a place for a long period of time, no matter whether it's sunny out or not, is shitty.
Mm-hmm.
The rain can definitely, after more than 2 days, I'm over the rain. Which is like why this past week is just crazy. You know what I mean? It's just like, son of a bitch. And then like, thankfully we're going to get today with sun, tomorrow with sun. And then again, Thursday, Friday, we're supposed to get rain. And then I believe after that, we're going to have sun for quite a while, which is awesome. Because now I think our temperatures are going to be low.
And I'm cool with that because I just bought new sweatshirts. So I'm okay with that. But I don't want the rain. I just don't want the rain.
Right. So here's one for you. This is off the website here that I'll put in a link in the description. It says the following weather conditions are associated with low and high moods for most people. Low mood, low temperatures, below 50, or high temperatures above 70.
That's high.
I mean, look,
in
across the country,
yeah,
it can be kind of crazy. Mid-range. So a high mood is usually between 50 and 70 degrees. So inside that little, small group, that 20-degree group, will make your mood better, which kind of makes sense. Like, look, between 50 and 70 is like, I hate to say perfect California weather, but it's pretty California weather. So here you go. Low mood, high humidity. And that is 100%.
Oh yeah.
High humidity is rough.
We've had humidity like that where you can't even get dry. That's just disgusting. And I want to take off all my clothes and just be alone.
Now, and here's the thing. When we get it, it's rare.
Yeah.
The South gets it
all the time.
Every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's always humid down there. Let's see. High mood is high atmospheric pressure and clear skies, which is pretty much here. Very low humidity and barely anything in the sky. Low mood, precipitation and fog. Yes, that is 100% true. I think it's just a downer, not seeing the sun. And high mood is sunlight because sunlight's bitching. Who doesn't like to have the sun out? It's pretty easy. Let's see what else is on this fun little page here. Oh, here you go. Energy. Typically, cold weather gives your body the signal to settle down and hibernate, resulting in less energy during the winter months. Warmer temperatures can boost your energy along with your mood, but only to 70 degrees threshold. After that, you may grow tired and feel the urge to escape the heat. Sunlight also impacts energy. Light tells your inner clock to stay awake, and darkness tells your brain it's time to rest. In other words, long, bright days can energize you, but the short, cloudy days with less light encourage you to go to sleep. I'm
there.
I agree. The last couple of days in this shit, I've been tired. Again, I'm not working, and I can't really take my dog anywhere. So I can't tell you how many times I would just pass out for 30 minutes and wake back up oh shit, I was either watching the movie or I missed the end of I missed the end of the show. I was like, son of a gun. So part of this is, I think if it is cold, maybe not rainy, but cold, you still have to find a way to get out and move. Right. Because we do want to hibernate where it's just easy to, again, you get comfortable on the couch, put a big old blankie over you. And the next thing you know, and heaven forbid you fall asleep easy. Like, oh my goodness. Stress. Here's one for you. If you've ever gotten a uneasy feeling before a storm, that was most likely your body sensing a drop in pressure. Suggests pressure can activate the superior nucleus, part of your brain that controls balance and precipitation. This study involves mice, but humans can also have it. Like, oh, okay. So your body goes into when a storm is coming, it goes in like a stress system. It makes you feel on edge. Circulating stress hormones, that's what we all need. Can also make your nerve endings very sensitive, which is why some people get chronic pain flare-ups when the pressure is low. Does that do anything to you, to your body? Does the storm?
Not normally, because I don't normally have aches and pains. But I got to tell you that since this car accident I had, it's been about a month, the rain just made me achy and cold, and it settled in my back, and I was just stiff. I couldn't move like I normally move. And I did not like that at all.
It's absolutely shit, actually. Yeah. I'm not a fan because the cold, I have lots of little nagging injuries from 20 years of wanting to kill myself. So, the wrestling just did a number on me.
Right.
So like my knees are better, that I've lost weight, but the cold still messes with them. And then my kid, he has a plate in his elbow from his little soiree with a doctor. And even though now he doesn't complain about it, they've told him no matter what happens, he's definitely going to get it later on. Because if he ever gets arthritis and that kind of thing, it just affects how we are. And then again, you start stressing over it. And then here comes your stress hormone. So the next thing you know, now your mind and body are stressed.
Just anxious and stressed out.
Yep. So, and it says high temperatures also can do the same thing, where people get irritable and aggressive during the hotter months, which again, I've seen it across this country. The summer months in places that have lots of maybe not as many air conditioners, where it's just like inner cities, there the violence just really, really jumps. So it's horrible. I mean, look, again, we live in a really good spot for weather, but we also live in a place that will stress us out over a bunch of other shit. So, then you add the weather to it and it just gets worse. Yeah. I think that, look, we all have a place to pick where we go, right? Most of the time. If you're going to move, you're going to check out the weather first. My kid is thinking of moving to Texas, and thankfully he went to visit during the summertime because I wanted him to make sure that he understood that it's humid. Right. And it was kind of funny because he was like, oh, what's the big deal? He goes, I'm going to have a job where I don't leave the house. Okay, well, you're right. That's a great way of looking at it.
Until the air goes out.
Yeah, that's very true. But I'm sure the air conditioning guys in Texas probably make a fortune. And if you live in an apartment, they're going to take care of it. So it just matters how long it takes to get them done.
Absolutely.
So here's something that I didn't know, but it says your ability to think clearly and make informative decisions. Warm, sunny weather may affect brain power by boosting your memory, helping you feel more open to new information, and improving attentiveness, mostly if you have ADHD. Warm weather also tends to make people more tolerant of financial risk. So don't buy a car in the summertime. If you find yourself making more impulsive investments or purchases during hotter months, the weather may be one of the reasons why. I had no idea. It's worth mentioning these effects only occur if you actually go outside. Simply looking out the window on a sunny day probably won't have much impact. So it's great. If you are an Amazon shopper, you probably you'll be okay. But if you ever leave the house, don't go to a car dealership in the summertime. And
I
to tell
did
you the
that.
truth, I think I've actually bought most of my cars in the summertime.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I will go out on a limb and say I bought them all in the summertime.
I couldn't tell you, but I know I have. The last
Yeah,
one I
that's that again, things you just don't think of. This one, 100%, and I want to say that there's probably statistics somewhere, but suicide risk. Evidence suggests people are more likely to attempt suicide in the spring or early summer than any other season. Researchers don't exactly know why this pattern occurs, although they have a few theories. More sunlight exposure and solar radiation may prompt a shift in your neurotransmitting levels. Rapid rising temperatures could trigger a mood episode, particularly for people with bipolar disorder. And high pollen count may prompt inflammation in the brain or worsen mental health systems. Wow. I know that up north, there's a lot of issues with that where it just rains all the time.
Not my favorite.
Just because, if you're, could you imagine being in the rain for 3 months straight?
No. The only good thing about places like that is they have really pretty waterfalls. But other than that, I have no use for it. It's bad. I've been in San Antonio when it's raining. In San Antonio, there's nowhere for the water to go, really. It's just all in the street, and it's all and it's flatter there. So it wasn't my favorite rainy place to be. But when I went to visit my cousin in Washington, the one time that I did that on purpose and not because I had to. I sat with her on her rooftop, and she had a ledge, so we weren't getting wet. And from where she lived, we could watch the rain go in, down a waterfall. That was great for a day. And then I was like, okay, when's this rain going to stop? And it didn't stop the whole time I was there. And I came home so sick. And I remember even laying down in the airport on the ground because I was so sick. I'm surprised they let me on the plane. And I just kept thinking, this freaking rain is miserable. I'm going to die here. I got to go home. It never stopped. But again, beautiful waterfalls.
Right.
Crappy weather, but I didn't want to be out to see them.
It says right here, it says, while weather changes alone likely won't prompt someone to attempt suicide, it could act as a trigger for somebody who want to be at risk.
Definitely.
And just so you know, I'll say what it says right here because I think it's pretty poignant. It says, if you're having thoughts, you're not alone, and you can get free support 24/7 from trained counselors by dialing 988.
Really?
I did not know that. So that's
I did
good.
not either.
It's a suicide crisis lifeline. So good. Who's most vulnerable to changes in weather? Let's see.
Me.
Yeah. Plenty of people, it says. Weather can only a trivial effect on mental and physical health. However, for 30% of the people who live, shifts in weather can cause symptoms like irritability, migraine, insomnia, trouble concentrating, pain around old scars and injuries. I will tell you that like the scars that I have on my arms definitely have been having some issues from my surgery.
Really?
So yeah, like soreness. So, meteoropathy, METEROPHATHY. It says most commonly affects women. So yes,
Yay.
that is older adults.
Yay.
People with high levels of personality trait. Well, that's probably if you have some kind of personality disorder. People who have been diagnosed with a mood disorder. We're good there. So yeah, older and women. So yeah, so the weather is going to affect you more.
Well, I remember even as a kid, I was told that I had I can't remember, seasonal depression is how they referred to it with me. And their way of dealing with it was giving me full spectrum light bulbs, and I had to plug them in and lay under them in like minimal amount of clothes for at least 20 minutes to a half hour every day. And believe it or not, that actually helped because you were getting the full spectrum light on you, and it felt, it felt sunny, and your brain could process that better. And I'm telling you, I know that sounds crazy, but it did help. So I remember my mom would come into the room and I'd be in my bathing suit. She's like, "What the hell are you doing? It's like 50 degrees outside." I'm like, "I'm getting a tan, Mom. Leave me alone. I'm under the lights." And she would be like, "Oh, enjoy that." And when I'd come out, she'd like, "You feeling all right?" And it would give me a boost. But I've always had this issue, always hating the rain.
Well, I will tell you, where like things that'll affect you is like I went to the tanning bed at the gym, and I came out and I felt also better.
Better, yeah.
Yeah. So where, it's probably similar to a sauna as well, where like you're sweating this stuff out, you're getting all these things out of you. But that tanning bed light, and I would only go for 10 minutes, and I would come out and I would feel so much more energetic.
Yeah.
So there is something to that. Here's the next thing on our little list here: seasonal depression.
There you go.
Right. Basically people who it happens when the seasons start. Most people with this type of depression experience symptoms like sadness, sleepiness, and increased appetite during the fall and winter months, but no symptoms in the spring and summer.
Yep. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Which kind of makes sense because the winter months are depressing. I mean, a lot of them are.
They are. I'm with you.
I would say close to us, probably not Nevada, California, New Mexico, Arizona, where you still get a lot of sunlight, even though it might be chilly. But once you get to like the Midwest, I have a friend who lives in Iowa, and she sent me pictures just from the other day. It was snowing. Yeah, already. So
that's gotta suck.
Yeah, it's got to be rough. Although there's definitely there's snow on the mountains here.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So,
it is cold here.
I mean, this morning when I walked the dog, it was 46 degrees. So, which means the mountaintop was, under freezing, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see. So there are people who have seasonal depression. In the warm, sunny weather of spring, summer triggers depression symptoms, and the colder winter months bring relief. So there is something to that. Summer depression says it's mostly agitation, insomnia, and poor appetite, along with low mood. Major depression. Here we go. Now we got it. Can occur at any time of year. That said, symptoms may show up more during chillier months. During November and December, when the temperature falls below freezing, when the wind speeds are higher than on previous days, and if it snowed within the last 2 days. So for sure, this is a European study, but even so, November, December are very weird months for depression, I think, because of family and what people are going through. Like if you don't see your family enough, or if you've lost somebody, in the last couple of years, the first time you start thinking about that kind of thing. So, it's definitely showing that the weather has an impact on us as people.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it with lots of other people. It's not just, a few close friends. I've seen it with multiple people. The funny thing is that I hate to say it, but a lot of them are women. So maybe there is something to that how you guys are built is just different than us. Definitely different hormones. So maybe when those depression hormones start really, really going, that's how we know. And look, I know plenty of guys as well that just don't like it. Like I said, I'm not a fan. I can do the rain for a couple days and then I go into, I mean, the best way of putting it would probably be depression. I guess that's the best word I would use, because I just get down and it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah. I call it an ugh attitude. I'm like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't want to be in it, around it. I don't know. And again, hibernate, that's exactly what I do. I just want to sleep through it and be as minimally depressed as I can
Right.
by sleeping through it and then move on when it gets sunny again. Like right now, the sun is coming in through my bedroom window and I could feel the heat. And I was like, yes, you're back. You came back. But it's been so dark and gloomy the last few days. You get so depressed, or I get so depressed, I don't even turn on the light.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I would open up the blinds to just try to get any kind of light in. And then you realize, damn, it's dark in here. And then you end up turning on a lamp.
Light. Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I can't see anything in here. It ends up just being, a hard thing to deal with. One of the things on here is how to cope, right? Says you can't change the weather, but you can take a few steps to ease its effects on your well-being. If you suspect you might be sensitive to weather changes, consider these tips. Keep a mood journal so you can track how different weather patterns affect you. That's actually a pretty good thing. If you have an iPhone, you can download, I forgot where it's at, but it's on here. It's basically part of your health app where it'll ask you during the day, like how you're feeling.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then you can look back on it. If you do a journal, you can do it in your journal app, or you can do it in the health app. And then you can go by and it'll ask you kind of like why you're feeling that way. And it has like some very interesting things, because it'll have like, if your mood's low, why is it low? And you can say, whatever, weather, relationship, job. It asks you all these different things. So then you can go back and look at your health or your journals and see like, oh, I was feeling down this day. And it was probably because I was dealing with, my girlfriend, or I was dealing with rain, or a combo of the two.
Yeah.
Monitor the weather forecast so you can prepare low stress schedules for difficult days. I totally agree with that. I did my best over these last couple of days because I do have an animal that I need to get out and about. And he has been really kind of jumping off the walls. So as soon as the rain stops, I put a leash on him and I get outside.
Yeah.
As soon as it stops. And I've taken him out multiple times, but I can tell that he's getting a little wound up, because he'll start like doing circles or chasing or biting the leash. So hopefully tomorrow I'm just going to take him to the dog park, whether it's yucky and soaking wet outside or not, just so I can get him out and let him run.
I know even the cat was acting different, and she's normally an inside cat, but she loves the two windows that we have in the living room, and she'll sit there because the sun goes in and she'll sleep in it. She's all upside down in it, and that's like her happy time. And she was going crazy, just running around. She was restless. She even was biting. I'm like, you don't normally do this. Even her and even the cat in the rain was acting crazy. So I let her out, and she sat at the back door, kind of like I do when it's raining, just to try to get some sort of light. And she just looked pissed off. And I was like, I totally feel you. So today she got up and she was like, okay, you're going to get up and you're going to let me outside. She was outside an hour and a half. We don't normally let her out for more than like 10 minutes because
Mm-hmm.
we just want her to sit in the backyard and chill. We don't want her gallivanting around the neighborhood. But this morning when she came in, it looked like she was like, oh, I feel so much better. She was in the sun. She looked like she was warm and content. And I was like, wow, even an animal is affected by it. And not because of anything other than it was just, it affected her. I don't know.
Same
It
with
didn't
mine.
change who she is or what we do with her, but it did affect her.
Yeah, mine looked depressed. Like he looked bummed.
Yes.
So yes, although he has such a thick coat, I opened up my back slider and I froze to death in the living room and let him just go outside so he could sit on the concrete. And he would just lay on the concrete, whether it was freezing cold or not.
While it was raining?
Oh yeah.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. Just not in the rain. He would just sit under the eave and just, but he doesn't care. Cause again, he's probably super duper warm and he likes the fresh air. So he was just sitting out there like getting a smell on.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing, walking him in the morning is extremely difficult now because there's so many smells coming up out of the grass.
Oh yeah.
He takes his fucking time. Like, and I'm like, dude, it's 46. Can we go inside? And he's like, doop, 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 doop. Like,
yeah.
I think this morning I took like a 30 or 40-minute walk.
That's crazy.
It does say right here, stay inside during harsh weather. If your home doesn't have heating or air conditioning, you may want to visit your nearest emergency warming or cooling center. Like, again, some places in this country have things like that. Mm-hmm. If not, I would say find a close friend and go hang out.
Yep.
To me, people is what helps me out. If I have to be in the weather, I would rather have somebody here with me.
I agree.
And, we're both talkers, so I think that probably helps the situation. But if you don't have a significant other, obviously you have to find your friends. And if not, thankfully we have, FaceTime and other ways of communicating with people where at least you can say, hey, I'm having a day, don't go too far.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, it's pretty obvious that weather is an effective part of who we are, and it will and or can put you down a road that is probably bad. And look, at least with me, it'll make you make bad decisions.
I love making bad decisions, though.
I
don't mind that part.
I like making bad decisions that have a happy ending, but you can't have bad decisions that have a bad ending. It's like, and if you're one like me, that's an overthinker and the weather just drags you down with it, I think you have to have someone with positive feedback to you and to keep telling you that, like, hey, don't go down that highway of depression and everything's going to be all right. And look, it's just the rain and the situation in hand will get better. And if you are a person that is affected to where it's just puts you into la la land, get some rest, I guess, and hope for the sun.
Yeah. And just hope that the rainy season only lasts a few days.
Yeah, if you live in Southern California, it probably won't. I guarantee you this will be like 1 week of shit and we won't get rain the rest of the year. A rainy season. I
don't know. I think we got a lot of rain coming. To me, it feels like this year it's going to be a wet one for the end of it. It
could be, but you know how we are. Like, we could have this crazy ass storm and then we'll be in the summertime.
We'll be at the beach.
No, in the summertime, they'll be saying that we have no water.
Oh, that's a given.
Yeah. So, anything else you'd like to say?
If you're like me and the rain really bothers you, do whatever you got to do to just be as happy as you can and get through it. But do your grocery shopping before you have to be stuck in the middle of a storm. That would be a smart idea. And remember, it's not going to last forever. And stay out of your cars because nobody knows how to drive. Just stay out of the car.
Yeah. And I would say lean on the people that are the closest to you, that mean the most. It's if you're one who has very bad depressional type issues like that, just lean on people. They're generally here for you. It can get rough. I mean, and like I said, these days it's easy that if you're already having some issues and the weather's coming, like it says, just be ready, have a little journal going, make sure you can kind of see where you're at, and then go from there.
Absolutely.
All righty. So, yeah, check us out on all social medias. You can hear this podcast pretty much anywhere. Having a good month again. Please keep sharing because we're getting new listeners all over the place. And yeah, it's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. That's Tina. I'm Rob. We will see you in a week. Bye.
See ya.